20 минут посижу. И как всегда из-за 0 онлайна выключу. Да. То что, ну, давайте начнем со... А, нихуя не, блядь. Да, все, жопа. Потери пакетов. Аж красные. Вообще 0 скорости. Ладно, поглядим. Будет лагать, сразу вырубаю. Да? А то что это такое? Как будто бы я нанимался. Ну, я не помню, чтоб я нанимался. Не было такого ни разу. И вообще, мама заругает. Ой, что это такое? Что за голый мужик? Я не понял. Спалився? Понятно. Значит, это, голые мужики там. Разглядываем, аж в пикселях. Что ж вы там такого ищете в пикселях аж? Ай-яй-яй-яй. Вот так вот. Только отвернулся в игрульку. Начинается сразу. Че, мужика закрашиваешь? А, ты его отрезаешь? Ты ему писюн отрезаешь? Ну, понятно все. Бедный мужик. Ну, получается, у него сегодня вечер открытий. Как меня калят эти наушники. Оно тяжелое, здоровое, а они жаркие. И вот оно болтается везде, и меня бесит. Нет, почему? Надо просто капельки. Я себе не смогу беспроводные включить. Ну, потому что у меня аудиокарта. Выследить убийцу, расспросить местных. Ты местный?
Evening, sir. Can I help you? Well, if you must.
Давай, как все было на самом деле?
I spoke to Dr. Swansea. He's not the man I'm looking for. Now, I want the truth.
The truth?
Truth.
What do you mean?
I suspect that someone else was here tonight. And I don't think Tom wants to tell me about it.
I'm just the barmaid here, okay? If Tom says you're the only visitor we had, then you're the only visitor we had.
I can feel your fear, madam. Please, tell me what's going on.
It's Will. William Bishop. He came in here earlier tonight and he... Well, I thought he was going to clock someone.
Why are you so afraid?
I mean, his skin. His hands. I scrubbed every glass and every chair that he touched. God, I hope it's not contagious.
What happened tonight?
He was dead drunk, as usual.
Ну чё, а вот этого священника совсем не хотелось убивать.
He must have caught something awful. He shouted
Я не убил.
and cried.
Я его вампиром сделал.
It was terrible.
Я в вампуру зашел.
Tell me about this William Bishop.
Will was a sailor who worked at the canning factory before he lost that job. A nice bloke, really. He's never been
Вот сейчас
violent.
я прохожу на плохую концовку. Мне будет очень тяжело его убивать. Прям вообще не хочется. И медсестру эту из Whitechapel вообще не хочется убивать.
They used to be good mates. But recently, well, Will started to get very aggressive.
I see. Thank you for your candor. I'll be sure to talk to Tom.
Тем более, что она столб. И Бишоп тоже столб. Короче, они все столпы.
Hello, sir. May I disturb you again?
You're still ugly as sin.
What's going on?
А, ну ты мне ничего
I'll
не
leave you.
скажешь. Том?
Welcome back.
I can't say.
Hey, I told you.
Угу.
Tom, talk to me about the visit from your old friend.
Я уже забыл,
Will
какой
came
тут
by
проблема.
tonight, but he's not my friend anymore.
Меня плохо видно. Как-то надо сделать вот так. Тебе не мешает? Блять. И мне не мешает.
Who is he?
William,
Хуэсхи.
old sailor who loves his gin too much. He worked for years at the canning factory before it closed.
Все равно мне не видно. Что ты будешь делать?
Is he dangerous?
Yeah, like
Вообще.
many drunks, he's all bark and no bite. He can barely stand up most of the
Так
time.
слишком, блядь, слишком меня видно. Все равно половину лица вот ту не видно.
How was he tonight? Was he different?
Sicker than usual, perhaps. He whined and mumbled about how mean people were to him and how he'd like to talk to me outside, and then he left when I refused.
Ладно, будем считать, что у меня той половины лица в принципе нет. Ту половину лица я выложу только на
Why lie to
OnlyFans.
me if he is not your friend?
I didn't lie. I said you were my only unannounced customer, and that's the truth.
А чё такого-то? Чё такого-то? Там вообще мужики
I
какие-то
need to
полуголые.
find him. It's a matter of urgency.
А?
Do you know where he is?
You could try his boat.
Ну, конечно.
It's up by the North Pier. He sleeps there when he's too drunk to get home.
Please describe him to me.
What do you expect? He's a tall, thick bastard with a
Стыдно.
bad rash and
Среднее время
clothes.
просмотра
He
0,01
used to be
секунды.
strong. Now he's a mess.
Thank you, Tom.
If you see him, tell him I don't want him back here unless he cleans up his act, okay?
Окей. Осмотреть
It's
load.
locked, all right.
It's locked, alright.
I think drinking.
Лодки надо осмотреть. Вспомнить бы где они. А, вон указатель же есть. Есть же
I
указатель.
will get to the bottom of this intrigue. What's been done to me, to this city?
Я доберусь до правды, я караны бабай.
The body is still warm. This man has just been drained of blood.
Ага, смотрит
This man was
костюм.
armed. He tried to defend himself.
Лицо скушали.
What's this? This corpse has been dried of its blood. Blood and empty gin bottles. This bishop fellow is something of a heavy drinker. There are blood splats on the other side of the...
Да-да-да. Ам. 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 Я не помню, куда все эти записки деваются. Ну да их хоть.
They're a company of professional vampire hunters.
В инвентаре валяется. Так, и что? Идти по следам, по кровавым следам. О, блядь. Охотники на вампура. Эх, нелегка жизнь кровосиси. Да я знаю.
Steady, boys! We got one of them!
Травяки, дай.
He's dead! Bloody leech!
Высмок так. Патрон взял. Представляете? Картечь. Так. А там теперь что-нибудь будет? Чьи? О, 6 патронов. Такие. Черяво живем. Оп.
This is no place for a gentle... Over there! One of them burning!
Омер.
Lively! Christ, it's dead! We can deal with this, man.
Ну я убивец, конечно. Побеждаю. Да, в начале эта игра такая приятная. Пиздец. А потом жопа загорит. Опа. Опа. Открыто убежище. Деньга. Старый револьвер. Ага. Мачете. Но я не буду мачете улучшать. Беспонтовая. Мне больше пила нравится. Хирургическая. Блять, обратно вернулся.
Over there!
Что, нема ничего, ну и раны бабать. Сюда.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
О, старая коса. Тут, кстати, двуручное оружие не очень-то профитное.
Bloodshed.
Как бы и так страдаешь от нехватки скорости.
Must have more.
Oh dear God, not again.
Ну,
William,
да,
please.
как любое двуручное оружие, он медленно бьет. Много урона, но
I
бьет
must
медленно.
put it down.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй. Тут вообще самое важное стата, блядь, это выносливость. Потому что как только она кончается, все. Кровосися бесполезный кусок вообще. Це победив.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you
Sure.
in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred soul.
Опять подмена чего-то.
Listen to
там
the sound of my
происходит.
voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I
Понятно,
must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
О, шельма это рыжая.
Remember, certain skulls are every
Какая
bit as
жаль, что
resistant
именно
as
на
we
ней
are.
вся концовка завязана.
What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn.
А
Should
ты
have
пройдешь?
realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar.
Если пройдешь, то я
like
тогда
me?
молчу, конечно.
Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Я просто вспоминаю, как я проходил, я просто не представляю вот эти вот финальные бои и боссы. Ты как их, блядь, если ты по хорошему пути проходишь, как их убивать, вообще ноль понимания. Ну же, блядь, дохляк будет вообще невыносимый.
Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Ну, прическа у него клевая.
This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Ну, шо я вот хотел бы, как у гражданина Кровосиси, это пальто. Я хочу такое пальто. Блядь, он такой классный. Вот эти кожаные пришивки. Вот, вы мне знаете, что подарить на Новый год. Тебе жопку сейчас бить, прям на стриме? Так я тебе все равно жопку бить буду сейчас, прям на стриме, прям. Прям на стриме жопку набью. Как-то ну. Еще как yes. Оу, yes. Прям сейчас в веб-комментарии пойдем оба два. Да ладно, меня забанят за насилие.
What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted.
Мне
The woman? What? Who is she?
What woman?
Who is she?
Don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Грим.
I knew it. I had my suspicions.
Следующий стрим у меня будет в Гриме.
But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain.
Ну вот.
Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Значит, надо воск заказывать.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research.
Ну вот, надо другой
What a
воск
turn of fate.
заказывать.
England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to
Мне
London
надо
with
другой
vampire.
воск заказывать.
Word again.
Надо.
From a so-called man of science.
I
Так что
understand.
заказывайте.
Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Сайт?
And for that, you are right.
Куда?
Well,
А, жаба давит.
let me be blunt. Join my staff
Жаба
at Pembroke
давит,
Hospital.
понятно.
As a
Че, он
physician,
прям дорогой, что ли?
I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your...
Лимонное масло, маленькая такая штучка, для 500 рублей. Я пиздю,
I was
40
returning home
миллилитров.
to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this.
Набор медиаторов тоже мне.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours.
Или рискнуть на
You'll be
хорошую
adequately
концовку пойти.
reimbursed and have a place to hide.
Нет,
I
еще.
even had the forethought to
Он
bring
вот
some
сейчас возле
clean
больницы
clothes.
будет кровь сосать.
So,
У него глаза
what do you
еще
say?
человеческие.
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer.
Не
so
знаю.
I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan,
Ой, не
this is one
знаю.
for the book and the beginning of a beautiful
Ой,
friendship.
не знаю. Не знаю. Я не знаю. Что, 25 минут, 0 просмотров.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy.
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Так, все. Я дошел до больницы.
We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
Все-таки на плохую идем. Ну, на плохую, отлично. Получим ачивку анархия. О, ты гляди, да?
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the sweat of life. Drink at this river, try it
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
Ща мы тебя высмоктаем.
Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
ЛБ. Привет. Ну, естественно. Конечно же. Или отпустить ее. Не знаю. А потом высмоктать. Не знаю. Да хрен с ним. Все равно начальный уровень много опыта не даст, даже если я все о нем узнаю. Ту-ту.
Back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Так. Опа, сундучок.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Ой, чё, как жизнь-то? Чё нового? Чё расскажешь?
I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Mike.
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Сейчас Чарли маску будет сносённо носить. Так, у меня есть пара
I would
вопросов.
like to ask a few questions first. What kind of man is Dr.
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Тебя все равно видно. Шучу, не видно. Я слишком жировик.
I've only just met him the once.
Ой,
This is sudden.
ой.
I've only just returned to England.
Чересчур, я
Dr.
бы сказал.
Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most
Слишком
compassionate
жировик.
physician.
Куда?
It's right to
Боже.
assume Dr. Swansea knows far
Ты
more
правда
about me
хочешь,
than I do
чтобы я
about
был
him.
Джабба Хат?
You'll get to know him soon enough and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Даже- Понимаешь,
And Mr.
что
Hampton, the
тебе
patient
тоже
you
это
brought in.
невыгодно.
How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep.
Вот
Thing was quite a
именно.
state of shock.
Где моя
If you could point me
комната?
in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Да перестань ты уже.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Ты, конечно, нравится, он сегодня так же катался.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Что-то не то у вас на пару. Опа.
Good evening, sir.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed.
Да, ты правильно понимаешь.
And I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical...
Это, у нее скилл невидимости
I
прокачан на
learned to
сотку.
shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Да, только тебя видно и было.
Are you
Что-то
really
дар не
trying to
работает.
Through that? And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is alright? It's fucking awful. We lack everything. And it's getting worse every day.
Кирилл, вы расскажите
What
о
do you do
себе,
exactly in this hospital?
как жизнь,
Apart
чего
from
нового у
smuggling
вас вообще
guns?
творится.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Новое расследование. Такс. А я личный же. Нету еще. А у меня не видно их. У меня вот у тебя 3 сообщения. Только. Про анархию, мать порядка. И про то, что у меня женщина. И вот сейчас. Почему-то я его не вижу. Может, стрим лаганул. Скопипасти, пожалуйста. Так, шо. Есть ли мне что продать? Или его разобрать лучше? Или продать? Или разобрать? Если ты скопипастил и отправил, то... Совершенно ничего нового. А как эти твои дела творческие в плане кожи? Может. Так-то я не лазал в настройках. Может, у меня фильтр стоит. Что-то как-то... Надо пошариться, разобраться. Может, у меня где-то фильтр ругани. Так, у меня же там расследование. Войти в сад за больницей. Так. Больница где-то. Сад. Вот здесь. Все по-старому. Ну, главное стабильность, как нам всем известно. Где же этот сад? Ага, вот. Где-то тут.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Ну, да. Если дело делается и нравится, то почему бы и это самое рекламку не заказать? Без рекламы сейчас, увы и ах. Ни туда, ни сюда. Опять скали. Ну поздравляю с чипированием. Сука. Вот уёбок. Куснул меня. Ты этим с жестким или который лайт? Ой-ой-ой. Отойди от меня, поганец. Я вот тоже в феврале буду чипироваться, пока что у меня QR-код переболевшего. Вот. Летом переболели всей семьей. Ой. Вот, в феврале он кончится, пойду чипироваться, не знаю, какую выбирать. Какой чип, от Microsoft или от AMD? Ну, в Новосибе вот тоже там в KFC какой-нибудь заходи только по QR-коду. Вот. Так что пришло время чипироваться в обязательном порядке. Такие дела. Не, куда пошел? Чупакабрик.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still...
I have some good news.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet. With all the...
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody's as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
What's going on between you?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in it?
Понятно.
Goodbye, Milton.
Goodbye, Milton. Все кто? Ага.
Good evening, sir.
So it is
Все вот
true.
кто.
The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already
13
resigned.
минут еще осталось.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands...
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse.
Mm-hmm. Так, лут. Лут это важно. Опа, стоять.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't
Не,
think we've been introduced yet.
прорисуйте.
My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes, Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, Just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
How would you describe this situation?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, Nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Ну и чё ты врачей ненавидишь?
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your...
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Goodbye, Milton.
Та-ра-ра-ра.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed.
Your name has no meaning to me.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe...
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please.
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Поехавшая.
I see. Have you ever heard...
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cottard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from...
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not
Совсем
find you here.
поехавшие.
I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that...
Who are you?
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
I'm curious to know who you were before.
No, it's such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life.
I'll leave you. Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear...
You remain...
Thank you, Doctor.
Do you know...
Tom!
People are...
Help. Who should not...
Ой, как же много тут, блять, болтовни. Ой-ой-ой-ой. Вся игра про болтовню. Первый раз это не так напрягает, а второй раз уже калит.
How do you... You're in good...
Thank you.
What do you do for a...
My man.
Are you a...
Not at all, Doc.
Why didn't you use your cross?
That's a very strange question, Doctor.
Have you... You never...
You're preaching to the converted now.
Goodbye, Mr. Ham.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. Ебать, колесо.
Good evening, sir. Can I help?
Unless you're here to...
I'm Dr. Reed.
You guessed right, Doctor. German.
How is...
Oh, it's...
Can I ask...
It's the pain.
Can I...
Nurse.
Who is...
Nobody's...
You don't seem...
With face.
Where were you...
I really don't...
No offense.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then...
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks...
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal...
Aren't you afraid?
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful.
So do you let her...
And why not?
She could decide...
And it's another good reason for me...
You do realize she's mentally disturbed.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly...
Ужас. Что за беспорядки происходят? А? Фигню всякую там смотришь?
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now. Да.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel...
I'm not sure, Doctor.
Do you plan...
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say...
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But...
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
Ой, это же со всеми говорить, обо всех узнавать, потом все их задания делать. Вот ее я смогу, допустим, высмахтать только после того, как я у нее задание сделаю. А за ней эти Она типа сумасшедшая же, типа я вампир, я вампир. Вот, а охотники до вампиров за ней следят. Надо их сначала ёбнуть. Вот. А для того, чтобы ее ёбнуть и его ёбнуть, надо сначала ёбнуть его. Вот. И когда его... Потому что если сначала ее ёбнуть, то он убежит. И все. Его уже не ёбнешь. Ну или ёбнешь, его где-то искать тяжело будет. Потом, наверное, он в гуля превратится, насколько я могу понимать. А я могу, конечно, понимать немного неправильно. Вот. Что это такое? Кто это? Кто это там? А кто там? А кто это?
I cannot enter.
А кто там? Ой, мне надо знать, кто там. Срочно. А там закрыто, представляешь? А дверь-то туда закрыта. Кто ты? Кто ты? Бабулька какая-то. Так. 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 Просто пациентка какая-то. А, это, блядь, с улицы надо находиться. Юбка раны. Бабай. Блядь, я проебался. Представляешь? Проебал. Ай. Ой, ну ладно. Чего ж теперь?
Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Reed. I am... Please, what made... It's always a pleasure to...
This epidemic may be the sin.
I'd
rather not talk.
As long as you're cautious.
You're not the first one to warn.
Да.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with them.
You seem...
I'm convinced.
Questions are
True.
Do you need help?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh, no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his...
I see. Well, give me the address. Tell me, Harvey, what is it?
Fair question.
This...
I agree.
Do you think keeping his...
All I know is...
Tell me first but why would he...
Because he is a...
Harvey.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Еще же всех лечить надо, елки-палки. Перед тем, как смактовать.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr.
Reed. Yeah.
Does my arrival inconvenience...
Придем, всех перебью, просто больница
Let us
пустая
just say
будет.
that I don't particularly share Dr.
If you...
Dr.
I know.
Oh,
There is...
that...
Tell me,
Strickland.
are you thinking about...
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you...
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that.
Why...
I struck...
Other people may say that's too...
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to...
Since you're...
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness.
Carelessness?
We're here to...
I don't intend...
Modern medical...
I don't... And what exactly?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful.
I only want...
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has to be yourself. The question is, are you judging yourself how?
It seems we cannot... Thank you for your... Good evening, sir.
I don't know if...
I see.
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me blood...
Are you
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad...
I won't...
Да, эту историю мы
I'm
слышали.
just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being...
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Doc.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had
Так.
Tell me about...
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed...
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me, what a blundering idiot. I will not let you down.
Good evening.
No.
Really?
I don't want to talk.
I suppose that this...
Yes.
Could you at least...
Mortimer.
How painful.
So painful.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his peg...
Not really.
I see. Then...
Yes, maybe.
How painful.
So...
I'll let you...
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer.
What?
No.
Are you?
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace.
May I...
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are...
What do you...
I have had the...
Is there something in...
Some of the...
Tell me...
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Опа.
I share your
I don't expect...
She charged...
Yes, and I paid without question.
Опа-на.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Опа-на!
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Milton. It's locked, all right.
Ширяется. Представляешь? Он такой типа говорит. Он говорит типа такой. Еще разок. Ничего страшного. Я полностью контролирую ситуацию. На самом деле мне, блядь, как-то надо. Сюда попасть. Куда, блядь? Ебать. Охуеть. Как мне туда попасть? А как мне туда попасть? Что это такое? Блять, где я? Кто я? Я не понимаю. Я что-то... Проворонил. Ой.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Получается, могу вот отсюда, да? Отсюда это я где? Ага. Там, кажется, за дедом теперь следить надо. Вот за этим.
Good evening.
Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
At least that mistress of the dark has stopped following me.
Ладно, будем следить. А, сука, долго будешь ходить. Ты будешь очень долго ходить. Теперь придется за ним следить. За дедом этим, которым ширяется. О. Началось. Ах ты, наркоман старый. Осуждаю. Осуждаю. Ты глянь на него, а? Кольнулся. Паразит. Я вот на первом прохождении упустил. Еще 2 подсказки надо о нем. Ой, блядь. Ну ты дед, конечно, даешь.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any...
I know you're taking drugs, Corcoran. Why take such a risk?
I need it to endure the long shifts. We have no idea how long the epidemic will last. We can't let it win.
For God's sake, what are you thinking?
Irresponsible? I am devoted to my...
I for God...
Irresponsible?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Good evening. Are you not?
I understand you fear.
Or my son.
Goodbye, Mrs. Gosling. Good evening.
I'm okay.
Admit it, more.
Yes.
All right then.
Call it what you want.
Can I help you in any way?
I wrote a letter for my mother.
I see.
Yes.
You can.
I guess I should think.
Tell me about.
I don't want to talk.
I have to.
Ага.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
I have to go now.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Так. Ой. Вот. поразнюхивал. О! Пила.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. The flower's dying. It needs water. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Так. Так. Надо мне, не надо мне сейчас. Не знаю. Сложно выбирать, что качать. Так. Ну вот, кусь буду качать немножко. Буду качать кусь. Шушуть. Так. Чуть-чуть здоровья. Счастье, здоровье прокачаю. Так, кусь. Так. Тысяча 300 надо. Так, варья сколько? 600. Нема. Надо выносливость еще разок. Ой. Так. Переутомление. Получается. Госвика.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Тартат железо. Хинин, хуйнин.
Yes, no?
I'm so sorry.
A crisis.
Our supply...
What type of
You have been away.
I may have a...
However do you...
If combined correctly.
The storeroom.
Perhaps I should...
It's the large building.
The abandoned...
Ой, ну ладно, хватит. Да? Ты еще поработаешь? Ладно, я тогда тоже чуть-чуть посижу. Пойду от переутомления суицидника полечу. Какой смысл, блядь, правда, на него лекарства тратить?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like...
Wise chop.
А у него ничего такого не продается. Баба.
I cannot enter. Зря ту дверь тыкнул. Очень зря. It's locked, all right. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. I cannot enter. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
И что это? Быкуешь?
These skulls feed from corpses and husks of animals. They're not after blood. It's locked. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old. Traces of a pinkish foam at the chest was originally opened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. It's locked.
Чё? Блять. О, смоктает меня петушара. Да блять. Это кресло. Не люблю этих теневых типов. Вообще не люблю.
These skulls can be so ferocious.
Душно.
I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Куда ты побежал? Ну-ка, стой нахуй. Вот я сейчас буду. Нападение. Ну ничего, я все равно победил. Победит сделал. И часы еще подобрал. Что это за комната такая? О! Вот у меня же, блядь, с подлокотниками, понимаешь? Нет, надо вот так вот, блядь. Ой, дебил, блядь. Чтобы потом визжать, что у меня эти руки отмирают. Понимаешь меня? Вот и я себя тоже не понимаю. Ну что за, блядь? Так, Типпет, ты, наркоман ёбаный, ты еще и подделываешь эти отчеты о вскрытии. Осуждаю его. Где он? Я его сейчас осуждать буду. Ага.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tell me,
If I had not
you can't.
look around. I'm not.
Tell me,
I suspect.
why would he?
Don't you?
Do you consider?
I wouldn't.
What can I say?
And for hiding them.
Do you? And what if he?
Then we'll.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need.
We are horrific liars.
Good evening.
Dr. Reed.
Kakor.
It was.
Why not?
Are you?
What?
It was. Who? I don't.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett.
I don't know what to.
You didn't.
Then I can.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Goodbye, доктор Типпет. Изготовить средства от переутомления. А, вон она.
Finally, you've returned.
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your
Duty calls. When the storm has passed.
Many thanks, Doctor.
How long must I wait, damn it? Blaming me will not further your agenda, sir. How long's it going to take to fix me properly? A month? A year? You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better.
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening to...
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Sweet girl.
Так, где этот? Бля.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Хуёво у твоего сына дела? Отстань от меня. Он только что вешался. Его просто вообще. РБ.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my...
And you have my...
I have to go now, sir. But...
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Ой.